Sunday morning cold, eyes on the score, touchdown dance ball, craving for more. Friends are calling, trades are on fire. Rookies falling, championship desire. Fantasy football fever, chasing the dream. Top of the leaderboard, we're the winning team.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Healers Program, a show that is Dynasty Fantasy Football. You can find us at FF Healers and at FF Captain 22 on X. Also, you can find us on YouTube. Just search FF Healers for shorts, podcast videos, and fantasy league related videos. If you missed last week's episode, we had the gambling whisperer, Gabe Holt, on. His free Discord for betting lines is available on the podcast details. Please like, subscribe, and rate this show. I'm your host, Dustin Brown, and he's back. Colten Palmer.
How's it going, guys? Our schedules just haven't lined up these past couple of weeks, man. I'm excited to be back, though. Today works out. We're lined up, and I'm ready to talk some fantasy football, man. A lot's happened since I've been here, so there's a lot to talk about.
There's been so much that's happened in the NFL over the last couple weeks. You've had a coach fired. We'll get to that. We've had many injuries around the league. We've got a lot of quarterback issues happening. And, we're halfway through the fantasy football season. This is week 7. If you've got playoffs starting in week 15, this is week 7, you're at the halfway point to see whether you're going to make the push to the playoffs or whether your team's in a rebuild mode. So there shouldn't be any surprises, after this week.
I don't like that you just said that. That makes me feel yucky. We're already halfway through the fantasy season. My goodness. I feel like it just started. I feel like I'm still making excuses for some of these guys. I'm like, it's still early in the season, but it's not. It's week 7. That's
had
crazy.
So many devastating injuries on so many teams, losing by just points or fractions of a point. And it just has skewed my record in one direction or the other. And it's like, oh, dang, I just missed it this week. Well, I guess I'll make up for it this week. And only to see it's like, oh, wait, I'm playing the number 1 seed, or I'm playing the guy that has the most fantasy points for, and it's like, son of a gun, or you've got a bye week that's screwing you.
Oh man, I've got a league that I have just been absolutely destroyed on in injuries. Like, my wide receiver core is something of just a spectacular spectacle. I had CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Devonta Smith. I have Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson. 3 of those guys injured, though. Garrett Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, all 3 injured. I'm like, my 3 big studs and just out. I was staring at this roster going, this can't not work. This is going to be a beautiful thing. And then just losing them one by one and just another mark off the board. Bam. It's just painful. I've gone into rebuild. I was like, I had to go on a full-blown rebuild. I have 1 win. And, I mean, it's not even that the team is that bad. I had Kenneth Walker as running back. Drake May's my quarterback. Daniel Jones is my other. It's a super flex.
Great pick.
And I'm just like, I shouldn't be this bad. Why am I losing? It's because my wide receivers, man, just keep getting injured. Not because they're bad. They just keep getting injured.
Well, or you have guys like Rome Odunze and Deebo Samuel just last week. And don't forget, Cortland Sutton in your 3 starting wide receivers, and you get a total of 12 points between the 3 of them together, and you lose by 5 points.
I'd say fantasy is weird every single year, but man, it is weird. It's just so weird sometimes. I don't get it.
It's a game of runs, just so once you get a run, you got to stick with that run. And once things go bad, it's hard to turn it back around.
Fantasy football is the definition of Swiss cheese. You just got to have the holes all line up in order to get the wins.
Oh, I like that. That's really good there, Colten.
Thank you.
My guillotine league, I'm just scraping by. I'm
Oh,
just scraping by. I have
still
Lamar
alive.
Jackson as my quarterback, the only quarterback that I ended up drafting. I was one of like 2 people that only drafted one quarterback. And I'm thinking each week there's a team that's getting dropped, and almost every team has at least 2 quarterbacks, and they're getting dropped and they're getting dropped. But then like there's nobody on the waiver wire. And I'm like, what is happening here? Some of these teams are holding on to like 4 quarterbacks at a time. And I'm like, how is that helping your team? And I'm scraping by with Jake Browning 2 weeks ago, just getting garbage time touchdowns, giving me 20 points. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And then last week I had Mac Jones as my starting quarterback. And again, he scraped by, but it's like, okay, Mac Jones or Dylan Gabriel. And it's like, ugh, or Geno Smith. Ugh. So I was like, okay, Mac Jones.
Sounds
This
like there's
week, I finally got a decent quarterback in Bo Nix, but he hasn't been doing very well either.
I mean, he's still like a streaming option at this point, but it sounds like there's collusion against you. It sounds like they're all just get Dustin out of here. Don't give him a quarterback.
They're trying. I'm scraping by, and this week's no different. Now, Keon Coleman, he's on a bye week, and I've got just holes I'm trying to plug. I may be starting 3 tight ends this week. Look, the 2 flex positions. I've got Zach Ertz, who's my primary tight end. I picked up Mayer.
Well, hopefully one of those tight ends was.
I picked up Michael Mayer and Kate Otten. And I'm like, okay, there's a possibility. And we're going to talk about Kate Otten here later on in the show. But I'm just like, it's not looking pretty. And like Henderson just hasn't fired yet. Woody Marks, the time I started him 2 weeks ago, gave me like 2 points in a game that the Texans completely blew out the team. And I'm like, how can I trust this guy?
I think there's still faith in Woody Marks. You should still hold on, but man, it was a brutal game that everyone really truly bought in. It was after his big blow up game that everyone was like all in on Woody Marks. They're like, let's go. It's time to go. It's Woody Marks time. And then, yeah, he just poof, vanished.
The Texans scored like 40 points, but Woody Marks gave you like 2.
Nothing. Absolutely. Oh, I mean, that's just like the other night. We had the Steelers versus the
Bengals.
Bengals. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. Yeah, the good old
the Joe Flacco led Bengals.
The geriatric bowl. All these points. I mean, it was like 31-33 was the final score. All these points. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Pat Fryermuth's big resurgence.
Even Brown. Even Chase Brown.
Chase Brown.
Gave you double-digit points.
Wait a minite. DK Metcalf had to do something. Wrong. DK Metcalf. 39-yard catch right off the bat. First play of the game. DK Metcalf has to be scoring points in this game. It's going to be awesome. Wrong. 8 points. Finished with 8 points, full PPR. Did nothing more beyond that first catch. I was like, are you kidding me? I traded for this guy in one of my main contending leagues. And I was like, it's just him. Aaron Rodgers has got to target somebody on this team. Arthur Smith is my biggest enemy still, Dustin. He just hates throwing to good players. He's like, you know what? Where's that mediocre tight end? Get it to him. Get it to the mediocre tight end. I really
Fryermuth.
God,
I loved it. I had Pat playing, and then after he scored the touchdown, the announcer saying, yeah, he's got like 13 receptions for the entire year. I'm like, we're in week 7, 13 receptions, and I'm starting him in a 2 tight end league, and I'm like, I'm desperate. And he goes off and he gets a couple receptions and a big touchdown, and I'm like, yes. Yeah, and I had Aaron Rodgers starting in that Superflex league, and I'm like, okay, double stacking here.
That big scary defense that the Bengals have just somehow shut down DK Metcalf. They couldn't get him the ball. No, it's because Arthur Smith is a big dumb doo-doo head and was just like, let's scheme the tight ends. We love him. Jonnu Smith and Pat Fryermuth. Oh, God.
Metcalf. Oh, Colten.
I'm so mad. I'm just so mad. 8 points, man. 8 points.
You know who else is mad? Brian Callahan. The Titans has fired their head coach and Brian Callahan. And what was interesting is that I was messaging a friend of mine and I was basically saying there's got to be a change here with the Titans, not thinking about like, hey, maybe they need to do a huge change in like just getting rid of their coach. And it definitely happened. Do you think there's any hope for this Titans team who's been the worst in the league?
I've said it once and I've said it a million times as well. I did not like this quarterback class. I didn't like it. I mean, people are just oogling about Jackson Dart right now. I think it's because it's this absolute crazy play style. But I said I think Cam Ward is an all right quarterback, but I don't think he's the answer for a franchise quarterback. I mean, he's looked terrible. I mean, Brian Callahan obviously was not the correct hire, and but they thought he would be because maybe he could speak to the quarterback, build him up, and everything. But obviously, it's not working, and Cam Ward has just looked absolutely pitiful. And everyone's like, well, I think it might be the coach, but you can't fire your 101 draft pick after 7 games, so they got to change something. So they're trying to change the coach and see, but it might just be Cam Ward, man.
You think it's Cam Ward that's really holding the team back? Has nothing to do with the weapons,
I mean,
the offensive line, or the lack of
weapons,
their defense?
everything is bad, but I'm not the biggest fan of this quarterback class. I don't think Cam Ward was the answer. I think there was, I mean, better quarterbacks to come. This quarterback class was just kind of okay. And I think that's what he is. I think he'll be just kind of okay, but he's not going to be the 101 greatness that they had so many other holes they could have filled with that 101 or traded back to get more because they weren't prepared to just bring on this quarterback that's not that great.
Well, and I'm going to say it here too, Colton. I would not be surprised if the Titans go out and win this week. I mean, how many times have we seen it where the coach gets fired and then the next week the team's all ramped up and hyped up and they go out and get a win, and then after that win, then they just revert back to their poor play.
Yeah, I mean that's the post firing bump is a very real thing. It's like I think it's like an oddly high statistic. It's like 60-70% for like them covering the spread. So it's definitely a possibility. They came back and beat the Cardinals, man.
Such a great franchise.
What a pitiful ending to a game. That was the wildest thing. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Speaking of bad beats, you were talking about Jackson Dart and Scadaboo too. They're kind of like the bad boys of the NFL right now. They remind me of like the Bash Brothers from the Mighty Ducks. And you've got Scadaboo going for a run, and he's going like head first, like going head first, trying to get that extra yard. Not even going out of bounds. And Dart, like I'm watching the game. The Giants versus the Eagles. And I'm thinking to myself many times over, I'm like, Jackson Dart is not going to make it in this league. He's getting hit so many times. Then he gets hit, he goes down, he gets thrown into the blue tent. You've got his coach like peeking in, looking in to see what's going on. And Scadaboo, the bad boy himself, he had to go in and he had to take a look and see how Dart's doing. And you could see their coach just yelling back and forth with their physician there on the sidelines, like, hey, we need to get him in. I don't even want to see Russell Wilson out there playing.
Put in Jameis. What are they doing?
Russell Wilson's first pass, it went straight into the dirt.
God, let Jameis
there's
play.
There's an investigation through the NFL right now about the concussion protocol that the Giants had for Dart, because later on the second half, Dart he went back in and he played the rest of the game, and that's how the Giants ended up winning. But neither Dart or Scadaboo is long for this league.
No, I actually just traded away Dart off of that fear. I mean, I'm sure he can learn, and he's probably going to get his butt wrung. Like, hey, you need to stop doing that. But I mean, when push comes to shove, and you're in the heat of the moment of that, he's going to go back to it, and he's going to get hurt. And people love it though. The people love Jackson Dart because of that. So I just traded him away. Just traded him away.
RG3 was the same way.
Yeah, I just traded him away on the hype. You would hate the trade, but it was I traded away Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Jackson Dart. And because I think those two aren't long for the league. I think Corey Krosky, Merritt, Bill. I think he's going to get replaced. I think he's going to do fine this year, but when they realize they need a stud, they're going to replace him. Jackson Dart is not long for this league, man. I got back because I needed he's my quarterback 3. That's JJ McCarthy. I got back Travion Henderson and then a second. So just swapping
It's
some.
not bad. It's
Out.
fine. I mean, it's fine. It's not exciting for me.
No,
Because I'm playing with Henderson in my guillotine league, and he isn't giving me the points that I want.
it is a team that I'm trying to build for next year. This is the team that I lost all my wide receivers, so I don't need any wide receiver help. I need a little running back help. So I was excited to get Henderson because I think he's going to start building up towards the end of the year here, and they're going to eventually. Mike Vrabel is going to give up on Ramondre at some point here. They're going to give up on Ramondre. He looks terrible. He still has his fumble fingers. I mean, he's got already 3 fumbles on the year or something like that. Like
He's got a lot of fumbles, but they paid him last year, and so they're riding him right now.
Right, I think they're going to run him into the ground, or they're going to try to trade him or something. I mean, they're going to do something, and at some point here, it's just going to be, once they maybe build up their team a little bit more, maybe they'll swap to Henderson. Maybe they're just trying to save Henderson's legs, let him get some experience, and eventually take over, and just let Ramondre take the beating right now. But I mean, I believe in Henderson still. I know a lot of people are giving up, so I was just trying to make a couple quick flips in that league to get some running back help. And JJ McCarthy as a quarterback 3, I'm happy with.
So another quarterback 3 that we're going to talk about that's now the starting quarterback for a franchise is Dillon Gabriel. And he's the first in the NFL history to have his first start international against the Vikings in London. And thank God we barely pulled that one out 2 weeks ago. But he did look good there, but he looked completely awful last week. How many more games do you think we're going to watch Dillon Gabriel start for the Browns before they decide that Sanders is going to be their starting quarterback?
I think it's going to come down to ownership on this one. I think it's going to come down to pretty much Stefanski, your job is on the line if we keep losing. And
his job is on the line right now.
Well, I think ownership at some point is just going to be like, if we don't win any more games, you're out. And if Gabriel keeps losing games, Stefanski's going to have to make a decision and just take a shot on Shadur or get back Jameis, baby. Get Jameis, bring him back. I mean, if they truly don't believe in Shadur, then I mean, because the weird part is when they first made the switch, they got rid of Flacco, traded him away to the Bengals. It was coming out that, well, Shadur might remain as the quarterback 3. It was like all this stuff going around, like, we don't know if we're going to elevate him to quarterback 2 and all this. I'm like, then let him go. Like, let him, like the Raiders would pick him up and he could be playable. I mean, he could go other places and have a chance, but it just seems like they just want to punish him. I think the Browns are just an absolute poverty franchise. They just don't know what they're doing. They just would rather punish. Like, there was actually a quote from Baker Mayfield not long ago that he was like, yeah, the Browns got rid of me, like trying to ruin my career. Basically, he's like, they were just trying to, like, he's like, I don't trust it. And it was just like, it was along those lines, not direct quote, obviously, but it was like something like in terms of like, yeah, they're just trying to ruin my career at that point. And like OBJ came out and talked about it, and they're like, the Giants traded me to the Browns just to allow my career to die out there. And I'm like, it just obviously there's one common denominator, and that is the Browns just a bad, poorly ran franchise right now.
Yep.
Just bad.
I couldn't say it better. I mean, if Baker Mayfield was to write a book and he would say, chapter 1, how to become a good franchise quarterback. Step 1, leave the Browns.
Get released by the Browns.
Yeah, released by the Browns.
Just absolutely. Don't forget, they still could have Deshaun Watson come back at the end of this year and play.
Or Bailey Zappi. Going from one bad organization to another, now we're going to the Jets. Justin Fields doesn't throw for 50 yards in London. That's right. He didn't throw for 50 yards. He threw for only 45 yards passing, 31 rushing yards, and there was about 9 sacks, I think, by the Broncos defense. They looked completely just pathetic. And And the Jets were the first team in NFL history to be 0-5 and have 0 takeaways. Now they're 0-6 after losing to in London. Garrett Wilson is now injured and upset with how the organization's run and the team dynamics. And Breece Hall is also on the trading block. And you were just talking about the Patriots and looking for a running back. There's rumors that the Patriots are actually looking at Breece Hall as an option, among other teams, which we'll get to as well. Breece Hall, he's definitely in the market, in the trade market.
Yeah. And someone that would, if you're a Breece Hall owner, I unfortunately have no shares of him. Keep holding on. I'm sure you're getting trade offers for him right now because the Jets is just a poor organization. And as soon as that trade offer or like that trade comes out that he is either traded or whatever, absolutely sell on that high. I do believe in Breece Hall. I mean, if you're a contender, obviously hang on to him. But if you're trying to rebuild or something, you want to get max. I mean, it's just sell him because people are going to go nuts with wherever he goes. I mean, especially with like some of the rumors. I mean, he's been rumored of going to the Chargers, which is bad news for Amari and Hampton. He has been rumored, to the Patriots. I've seen him rumored to the Chiefs. Oh my gosh, if he goes
Get him to the Chiefs also, that would be just diabolical.
Oh gosh, it would be awful. I would hate it. But yeah, I mean, Breece Hall owners have to be. You got to hold out at this point. Just keep hold the line. Don't sell low but there are better days ahead in terms of value or production if you need them.
I'm going to say 2 words here, Colten. Anthony Richardson.
Did you have to say those words?
Yes.
I thought we were past him. I thought this was
he was in the news last week. He was in the news last week.
I thought this was 3 seasons ago. Anthony Richardson has been phased out of the league. Is he even still part of it?
He is still a part of the league. In fact, he was in warmups. He was getting ready to play, Colten. Fractured his orbital bone when he had was using a rubber band, and there was a piece, I guess, that came off of the band equipment and hit him in the eye. And then they ended up listing him as the quarterback 3. I thought maybe he was a guy that could be traded by the deadline, but now he's on the IR.
The IR?
The IR. Injury reserve.
IR.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Thank you. Can't handle that one, can you?
That was a good one, Colten.
Thank you.
What do you do with Anthony Richardson in Dynasty? Nobody wants this guy. I mean, can you drop him? I mean, in Superflex, I feel like the upside is still present with his rushing. I mean, he's only 23 years old.
Here's the thing. We have seen you just spoke to it, which, by the way, I think Aaron Glenn might be the next head coach fired. Speaking of this guy next, Justin Fields is starting on teams. He's starting on teams. We have seen the Justin Fields experience across 3 teams now. We saw him on the Bears. We saw him on the Steelers. We saw him on the Jets. And he somehow still keeps getting a job. I think this is finally the end.
First round quarterbacks.
Anthony Richardson, he might get another shot somewhere. And for what you paid for him, I mean, you might as well just keep hanging on if you can. I mean, there's no sense in if you need a roster spot that bad. I mean, you can drop probably somebody else that doesn't have the upside. Jake Browning, if you have him with Anthony, drop Jake Browning over Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, at least there might be something where he gets a shot and he plays a couple games where he'll get you some rushing touchdowns. Like in a shaky situation, you might need him. I mean, at this point, what you paid for him, you don't want to get rid of him. I mean, you got to just keep holding on to see. I mean, eventually, do I think he's going to be a starter in the NFL ever? No, unfortunately not. I was way off. I was wrong. But there's still a chance that, he might get a shot and get you a couple rushing touchdowns in a game because that's still the possibility. I mean, he is a very good athletic freak of nature, and he could get, say there's a team that's a middling that needs a quarterback. I mean, that gets a couple wins, and next year's quarterback class isn't looking that great? What if the Raiders are like, hey, we'll toss a 4th or 5th round at the Colts to get this guy? And who else is there right now? I mean, Geno looks absolutely terrible. I mean,
that would be really fun to see
there's
him. But
there's an
they got Aiden
opportunity across
O'Connell
all
that's
the
going to be
league.
coming off the IR, and they also have Super Bowl winning Kenny Pickett. So they're not in any hurry to be building with the Vegas Raiders. They're a team that's going to take a couple of years to actually build up, and the last thing they need is to get Anthony Richardson in that facility.
Right. But I'm just saying there's situations like that where the quarterback is struggling and they're like, we don't want to buy one of these quarterbacks, or they're like a mid-round team that like can't buy one of the quarterbacks coming out of college next year, to the point where they're like, okay, we'll toss like a late round pick at him and see what he can do, And maybe
This is going to be a hot
shot.
take. This is going to be a hot take for you, Colton. If I had JJ McCarthy on any of my Dynasty Superflex leagues, and I don't, but if I did, I would be trading him for maybe a guy like Anthony Richardson and a first. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a first in 2026. A first in 2027 would be just fine for me. I think you could get that package pretty easy for JJ McCarthy, especially on a team that is given up completely on Anthony Richardson now that he's on the IR. What do you think about that as far as like a potential trade? And it's gross, but with JJ McCarthy, hear me out. JJ McCarthy gives you zero upside as a quarterback. Anthony Richardson, the second he starts and he shows the rushing ability, people are going to forget. Oh, because we've seen this over and over again with Justin Fields. He provides fantasy football value, and that's the game that we play here, Colton. You can't tell me that after he actually gets thrown into a starting role and he shows the rushing upside that you couldn't get another first for him.
If he gets a starting role, you could, but that is all speculation. Is the problem?
Earlier this season, you could have easily got a first for Justin Fields because the hype was there again. Oh, he's got Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely ugly, and that's a big shot and risk that you're taking. I mean
Is that too hot for you?
It's a little hot for me because I mean JJ McCarthy is the Vikings spent a high pick on him. They're going to stick with him. They're going to stand by it. They got rid of, even after Sam Darnold took them to 14-2, 14-3 last year? 14-2?
Something like that. We got 14 wins. Yeah, 14-3 sounds right.
14-3.
We only lost to 3 teams, the Rams and the Detroit Lions twice. So yeah.
Yeah, so 14-3. And they still just let him walk away because they're like, well, we have to stick by McCarthy at this point. We've spent a draft pick on him, and
we didn't want to pay him over $100 million, which he ended up making for the Seahawks.
Right.
Because we've been down that avenue already with Kirk Cousins. When you overpay for a quarterback, and the Bengals are seeing that right now, when you overpay for the quarterback position, you don't have enough money left over to pay for the offensive line and the defense.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. They just let someone that took them to 14-3 just kind of walk away rather than just paying them. They're like, well, we got to stick with McCarthy for, money, and also because they spent draft capital on him. So they're going to give him the shot. They're going to give him a couple of years here. This is essentially his rookie year. So I say he's still there for at least 2 years. So he is a starting quarterback. And if he's sitting as your quarterback 3 and you need to play him in a bye week, or if there's an injury, he'll be all right, but it's not someone you're super excited about that you're going to start every week.
If Carson Wentz comes out and plays well against the Eagles this week, and then we turn back around and play the Chargers on Thursday Night Football, you win those 2 games with Carson Wentz is going to be our quarterback until he shows otherwise.
They're not winning. They're not winning with Wentz. I mean, Wentz has been okay. I just don't think he's
revenge game against the Eagles.
Yeah, no, I just don't. Wentz is gonna Wentz, man. We saw him crumble when they were in Dublin. I mean, he went back to the Wentz of old and just kept holding on to the ball, taking sacks, and I don't see Wentz being that person. They got to develop McCarthy if they're gonna try to give him truly a shot, and that's what they know they have to do. I think they're like, well, we got to give him a chance. We can't just let him keep sitting. Otherwise, you're going to have the Anthony Richardson situation all over again. They want to develop them, but at the same time, they're letting them sit in the background, and they're like, well, we can't really develop them, but we can't really trust them. And
You,
so you're just stuck in this limbo where you're hoping to get someone off of free agency in the offseason. And then you're like, well, we wasted this pick and we don't develop them, and now we don't know what to do.
I disagree.
Hopefully Daniel Jones comes around.
I disagree. Last year, he was supposed to be sitting behind a starting experienced quarterback all season long. He was on the IR. And now this year, he has an experienced quarterback that's playing ahead of him right now because he looked pathetic in those first 2 games, and then he got an injury. And now he finally has the opportunity to sit behind a starting caliber quarterback and see kind of how it's done. And it would only make sense for the Minnesota Vikings to at least start Wentz this week, which they are against the Eagles, and then on a short week play against the Chargers, and 2 very strong defenses.
You said starting caliber, and I'm going to just go ahead and put he is a caliber quarterback.
He's starting.
He's starting.
He's starting.
I mean, he's starting. I don't know.
You're a scorned Colts fan that
I hate Wentz.
Then.
God, I hate Wentz.
He was giving his heart up for the Colts and rolled his ankles multiple times, and he was still playing through the pain, only to, taint his career.
Well, he tainted it when he was on the Eagles and pretty much got Nick Foles bumped over top of him. They would not have won that Super Bowl if Wentz was there.
Wentz was playing at an MVP level
before
he got injured. Everyone forgets that, and yes, he was. They were talking MVP for Wentz that year.
Speaking of MVP, can we talk about that?
Sure. Who's MVP?
Baker freaking Mayfield.
He's doing it with no receivers again.
What? Dude, that guy's playing out of his mind. Anyways, we can continue on our schedule, but you just said MVP, and I just thought instantly, Baker, my love.
Let's talk about the Bucs. They're now without Buka. That was heart-shattering.
Mika Egbugba?
Have you heard that? Heart-shattering.
Have you heard that? Gronk tried to say his name on like one of the castings for like some company, and he goes, Mika Egbugba.
Egbugba?
Egbugba.
But him having a hamstring injury is really sad to see. He was playing like rookie of the year level. He was playing fantastic.
Looked incredible, and I mean he was taking over that Chris Godwin role to perfection, just always open, running beautiful routes, exactly where he needed to be. Him and Baker had such a good chemistry, and they were absolutely killing it. And then just this hamstring injury, it just puts an absolute halt to it. They said it's not as bad as Mike Evans. Mike Evans was out for 4 weeks, so they're thinking as of right now 2 weeks is what I was kind of hearing. But I'm hoping I hope they just let him get fully healthy. Yes. I mean, I have him in a couple of leagues, and I'm fully I was leaning on him. Like he was my wide receiver 1 pretty much, and
guillotine league.
And it's just been ripped
out. That's why I have to start tight end.
But I want him to be fully healthy when he returns. I don't want to rush him back in 2 weeks and then re-aggravate it, and now we're out more. So I want it to be fully healthy and everything, but man, he's looked so good.
Who are the Bucs going to be throwing to this weekend? You've got Igbuka out, Godwin out, Bucky Irving out, Mike Evans, question mark.
Rashad White.
Cade Otton is getting hyped for more touches. And then you got the other opening opportunities for like Sterling Shepard, who Baker Mayfield has a connection from back in college. He played with him pretty well last year, but Sterling hasn't showed any upside at all this year. Tez Johnson catches 1 pass for a touchdown last week. And then the lesser-known Cameron Johnson, who scored 16 fantasy points last week on a 49% snap share. Like, who would you start in a game that could be high scoring?
Rashad White is going to get loads of passes dumped off to him. Like I mean left and right. But did you hear the story about Tez Johnson with his interview?
Yes. Yeah. Let's tell the audience here, Colton, go for it.
So Tez Johnson makes this awesome catch, in the end zone for a touchdown, and the crowd starts chanting MVP, MVP. And I believe it's Sterling Shepard. He goes up to, he goes, dude, do you hear that? They're chanting MVP. He goes, I haven't done anything this year. I guess he like slaps him. He goes, they're talking about Baker, you moron.
Yeah,
Just
he said
absolutely,
that again in an interview.
yeah, absolutely incredible. He's like, I haven't done anything this season. Thanks. Like, he's talking about Baker. Incredible story. Absolutely. It makes me want to go and pick up Ted Johnson just for that story. Like, just what a guy.
So if you had to pick in a flex spot this week between Tez Johnson and Cade Otton, who would you play? Because I'm in that situation right now in the Goat Team League.
I'd personally go Tez Johnson. I
Tez
like
over
him.
Otton?
Yeah, I mean, he is a smaller, but he's a quick dude, and I think he's going to. I mean, with Igbuka out, he's going to have to take on that slot role. It is rumored that Mike Evans could be back for this game. We're still kind of waiting to hear. My guess is he's game time decision, but if he's back, he'll be playing the wideout. So Ted Johnson will have that slot, and Mike Evans, if he's back, he'll be pulling the strongest corner. You know that. So I mean, Tez should have a better opportunity. So I think Tez.
What would you say if I told you that Cade Otton has been playing the second most snap share in the slot in the NFL this year?
And he's done nothing with it?
I mean, you're talking about Tez going into the slot. I mean, if Cade's there, it's kind of hard to fit two people in the slot. The slot's only so big.
You can have a double slot. This is a
Double
double slot formation.
I would have double slotted it.
Double slot formation. I mean, you could probably hide Tez Johnson behind Cade Otton, honestly.
He could ride on his back, probably.
Nobody would know.
Off of him,
he's
like
a small
Pokemon.
Dude. Tez Johnson was a small dude. He came out of Oregon, didn't he?
Yeah.
Small,
fun fact
guy.
It was him, and he lived with Bo Nix for a time.
Yeah, he was on the Broncos. Was he not?
Tez?
Yeah.
No.
Or no, they just lived together.
They lived together when they were in Oregon.
Oh, nice.
They were like brothers.
And the Broncos didn't take him? I thought was Tez
Nick's
undrafted?
family ended up taking him in.
Wow. What a story. Was he undrafted? I'm trying to remember. Or was he drafted late?
I think he was undrafted.
Okay, that's what I thought. And look at that. Caught a touchdown.
People were upset with his 40-yard run because it was like 0.03 different than Tank Dell. Then they're like, oh, he's too small. He can't run.
Yeah, sounds about. I mean, he is a small dude. He is.
Sounds about right.
He is the same size as Tank, and we've seen that story go to the wayward side. Honestly, that's someone we have heard nothing about this season. Tank Dell, nothing.
He ain't coming back. Not this year. That's why you're not hearing anything.
Oh no, but it's not even anything. Like it hasn't even been like, remember when Tank Dell was here for the Houston? Like, he's taking on the Tank Dell role. It's just like he's just blown away, gone. It's unfortunate.
Speaking of small players, Kyler Murray, he was injured just last week, and he was, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, with his ankle. And initially, when he got injured, I don't know if you watched the game at all, Colton, but there was a high snap for Murray, which would have been an average snap for the rest of us. It hit him in the head, and then he looked like he was almost dazed as the ball was rolling around on the ground. And then he's like, oh, I need to jump on this. And he jumped on it. I swore that he was out with an injury. I thought it was a concussion because I thought the ball, hitting him in the head, his head snapped back and he looked just dazed. Later to find out that it was his ankle. And then Jacoby Brissett looked actually pretty good last week. He threw for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns and an interception. And it's sounding like Kyler's leaning towards maybe playing this week, last I had heard. And, don't worry, Marvin Harrison, he's back too.
Well, yeah, I was excited because I thought Jacoby Brissett was going to be back with Marvin Harrison. Because Marvin Harrison actually looked good until he went out with a concussion. He looked like he was going to be a strong option for Jacoby Brissett. And then, unfortunately got a concussion that you saw after that play. I mean, he was kind of questionable, but he did kind of get up, shake up after he went face first into the turf. But he looked like he was going to be a strong option. He was going to have a decent game. And then, then gets the opportunity to come back to be with Brissett because they did say MHJ will play this week, and if Kyler plays, it's just right back to sadness. How did my real question is though? How did Gannon not get fired after that game against Tennessee? How? How did he not get fired after that game?
I have no idea.
I was
That was awful the way they lost.
I was baffled. That was like that was like a high school team. Like the way
And if
they
he would
lost.
have, I would have been correct with him being the first quarterback or the
Yeah.
first coach
Well,
being fired.
after I watched them lose that game, because actually I didn't even get to see pretty much the ending of that game. They were up by so much and going into the fourth. I'm like, well, that's over. They're going to be just fine. And then they just fumbled their way through a loss and just gone through the wind. And I'm like, how is he not fired? I was watching all the highlights essentially on Twitter. I'm like, how is he not out? How? What is this Cardinals ownership looking at where they're like, we're fine? I don't get it, dude. I don't, man. You know what they could use is Arthur Smith to get that ball to the second tight end. That's all
And run
they
the
could use
ball.
more.
And run the ball.
God, I hate coaches and ownership. It's the worst thing about the NFL. Let me own the team.
Speaking of players you can't trust, you can't really seem to trust right now any of the wide receivers or receiving options for the Chicago Bears. DJ Moore, he had a groin injury. Then he went to the hospital following the Monday Night Football game, but apparently he's okay. But who do you trust with these wide receivers? You've got Burden, who's starting to kind of get some hype and some steam. You've got Rome Odunze, who's supposed to be the wide receiver 1, but he gave me 5 fantasy points last week. And DJ Moore, he's getting some targets, but they're low-calorie targets, and he's catching them at the line of scrimmage and going nowhere with them.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing Luther Burden ramp up. We saw him make a couple of plays over the last weeks. He's looked good. I liked Luther Burden a lot, and I still think he's a very special player. I think he can make stuff happen with the ball in his hands. Remember talking about him in the offseason, he's that yards after catch guy. You know, they get the ball in his hands, he just makes stuff happen. And he was making some good plays. I mean, I think we're going to slowly see him start ramping up towards the end of the year. The more that DJ Moore just starts phasing out. I mean, DJ Moore last game started to get some more targets their way. I think they're trying to showcase, but no one's buying his contract. They gave him money, and he's on this team through like 2029, which is insane. Like his contract is crazy. So nobody's buying out that contract. Nobody's going to take him. And so at some point here, they're going to have to make a decision. Do we want Burden to start taking over? Do we want like Moore to just fizzle out? And I mean, it's just another situation that it's just, I mean, we said it too. Like there's a lot of mouths to feed here in Chicago, and none of them might be relevant because it's just going to be moved around because there's too much. There's just too much at this point.
You don't think a desperate team like the Giants wouldn't pay for DJ Moore?
No. Have you seen that contract? And
I know it's a contract, but like who else are the Giants paying right now?
Well, I think the Bears would have to eat a lot of that contract though, in order for someone to take it. Because why would you overpay for someone that's giving no production or showing no hope right now? I mean, he hasn't looked good. He's not looked what he should for what the contract they would have to take on. And that's the biggest issue. If the Bears want to get rid of his contract, they need to start just feeding him. I
don't think they're trying to get rid of the contract. I think, like you said, they'd have to eat a lot of that contract, and whoever's trading for him will not have to see that full contract. So I think a team like the Giants makes sense.
I mean, if the Bears are willing to eat the contract, that's the problem. That's the biggest problem.
Well, there was another good wide receiver that was available that was just picked up and signed by the Washington Commanders here just this week. Treylon Burks.
I knew it. I was like, is it Burks?
Has signed with Washington. Washington's going in without Scary Terry this week. Debo Samuel, Noah Brown. And yeah, he's questionable, but it sounds like his heel is really aggravating. And as a guy who played Debo Samuel and he gave you, again, a very low floor, I'm not trusting Debo this week. Is Zach Ertz the number one option for the Washington Commanders this week for receptions? Or what do you think?
Where's Ben Sinnott? Where is he? I don't understand.
He's nowhere to be seen. You think this would be an opportunity for them to play 2 tight end sets?
Yeah, I mean, and last year they in the playoff game they had him go down for that fake punt and had a massive awesome catch, and then no, we don't like him. Like, I don't get it. I don't get
I think
it.
that was I think that was a 32-yard gain, if I
Yeah,
recall.
and it was an awesome catch. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand what they're doing. You know, we went into this season hopeful. We're like, they got him Debo. You know, they have Scary Terry. They got him paid, but Scary Terry also held out, so he didn't do the training. He didn't go through all this, and he
And it
hasn't
sounds
looked
like
as
he
good.
has a significant injury also. I've
Yeah,
heard,
this is why they didn't
hernia
want to play
or
him.
abdominal injury. Like, he was projected to be out for like 8 to 9 weeks, and here we are in week 7, and he's nowhere to be seen. Like, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, well, see,
Not at all.
this is why they didn't want to pay him, and this is why he wanted to be paid, is because of stuff like this. He was older and he can get injured, and will he ever return to his old form? Nobody knows. And that's the problem with why we run into these holdouts, is because these teams are like, well, you're old. If you get injured, you're not coming back, basically. And he's like, yeah, I'm old, and if I get injured, I'm not coming back. I want money. So, I mean, that is the unfortunate part about this. And yeah, and man, it's tough on Jaden Daniels. That's the hard part too. Is we thought he had these weapons. He was coming in as a top 5 quarterback because we thought he was going to have these weapons, but now he's just running for his life, throwing to Zach Ertz, and he's just not living up to the hype that he was going to have because of the weapons. So,
Sophomore slump. And they didn't really put anything around him.
well, I wouldn't even call it a slump. He's looked good when he's had the opportunity, but he doesn't have a chance right now because he doesn't have anyone to throw the ball to unless there's broken coverage on Luke McCaffrey.
And he's looked pretty decent. He's took a step forward.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looked all right, but I mean, it's him and Jalen Lane and yeah, Zach Ertz.
Who was that last name again?
Jalen Lane.
Was that
Jalen Lane.
one of my sleeper players?
It was. I
ended
have
up getting
Jalen
picked up?
Lane. I have
Yeah.
Jalen Lane in the league. I like it.
Yeah, Jalen Lane and Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, my 2 guys that I talked about way back in February, and Washington liked them. 4th round pick, 7th round pick, and now they're both starters.
You should go work for the Commanders, man.
Crazier things. Colten, are you sitting down?
I am.
Marion Hampton.
Oh.
Marion Hampton out. We haven't talked about it the last couple of weeks, so I have to bring it up here, and I'm sorry that we got to talk about it now here, Colten. But not only is Hampton out for at least 4 weeks,
I think it's
but
worse.
Kamani Vidal, a guy you can't stand. 18 carries, 124 yards, 3 catches, 14 yards, and a touchdown.
He's going to get smoked this week. He's going to get absolutely smoked. I think, and this is my thought, and they're on their running back 3, right? The Chargers are on their running back 3. They have an all-star in a quarterback. They had Lad McConkey. They've got Keenan Allen. I think the other team was like, hey, we just got to stop the passing game. I mean, in order to win this game. Like, Kamani Vidal isn't anything. Hassan Haskins is on his second team, isn't much. I don't think they are expecting this team to actually put the ball in Kamani Vidal's hands. And they did. They trust him. He looked good, but I think when they go up this week, they're going to be like, yeah, absolutely not. And he's going to get pummeled.
With an offensive line that's been crumbling.
Yeah.
They lost their 2 best tackles.
I think Joe Alt is back this week, which could be good for Vidal. He might have some decent. He's not going to blow up like last week. I mean, I think that was a product of let's stop the passing game, and I think we get this win. And I think he might have an all right game, but I think he goes maybe, he'll probably do 18 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown, which isn't bad. It's not bad, but I don't think he's going to blow up like he did the week prior.
I'd argue that Joe Alt's coming back actually helps Haskins, the bruising back, the short yardage back.
Yeah. And that was the other thing. Like, nobody knew who the starting back was. Everyone says it was going to be Haskins. So maybe the other team's game plan was like, hey, if we can stop it up the middle and they're just using Vidal around that outside and everything. So I still don't think I'm still on the side of I don't think he's a good running back. I think he was the product of the unknown.
But we've seen it many times. Like, you don't have to be a good you don't have to be a good running back to be a productive running back in the league.
Yeah.
If you're a starting running back and you're getting the carries, like, that's sometimes all you need in order to be relevant. And before this game, the Chargers came out and said that they're looking for a running back. And there's a couple running backs on the market. We already talked about Breece Hall. I mean, can you imagine Breece Hall in the backfield? It would kind of crush on Hampton. But I think a running back that makes more sense for the Chargers is a guy like Kamara, because then you could have the Thunder and the Lightning, the pass catching back in Kamara, the pass, like, the most pass heavy offense in the league right now is the Chargers. Can you imagine Kamara there? He's not getting peppered with targets right now for like the first time in his NFL career. Kamara with the Chargers makes a lot of sense to me.
I don't hate that, actually. And I don't even mind that for, Amari and Hampton shares. I mean, Amari and Hampton, we didn't talk about it, but he's on IR for 4 weeks, right? And they're thinking it could be worse than what it is, which is why they're sniffing around for a running back, because this is a contending team. They look good. I mean, they've had a couple of losses here, but every team has that. I mean, we've watched the Eagles lose back-to-back games now. I mean, every team has their losses, and it's, any given Sunday. So they're still a contending team. They are still good. Hopefully they get their line back to health and can be even stronger when they looked at the beginning of the season, when they had their healthy line. So they're going to be looking for a running back to bridge this gap when Amari and Hampton is out, because, I mean, he was a stud. I mean, he was looking so good, man. He looked so good.
For about a week, he was looking really good.
It was incredible. Unfortunately, he gets that injury. So I would love Kamara to come here. I would dislike Breece Hall coming there, because I think that does push the Omari and Hampton shares, because Breece Hall,
there's a lot of other places for Breece Hall, and I don't think the Chargers are the best place for him.
No, he's an all-around
and Amari
back.
Hampton especially, but
Yeah.
Kamara and Hampton, I like that.
I do like that. I like that combo. That's a 1-2 punch. Kamara is a very good pass catching back. Amari and Hampton can do it, but that's not like his calling is the pass catching. Like, he can catch passes, but he's not like Kamara, where he's a pass catching back. So
and Hampton wasn't really catching any balls with the Chargers.
Yeah. So I think that would be awesome, especially with Hampton when he gets back. I think that'd be a solid 1-2 punch. Breece Hall is an all-around back, so I think that'd be a dumb move for the Chargers. I think they know that. They're a well-ran organization at this point. I think they would be like, why would we pay so much? And Breece Hall's going into a contract year. He would want a contract to where he's getting traded to, because he's like, why would I come to your team for a half a season and not get paid? He's going to go to a team that he's going to get paid and stay on there long-term, when they have their long-term option in Hampton. Because Breece Hall's still young. Kamara, he's old. He's like, heck yeah, I'll come in on you give me a 1-year deal or whatever is left on his contract. Take him on, and you got a 1-2 punch. You have the Jahmyr Gibbs and the David Montgomery. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and it did come out, I think, yesterday about Kamara saying, like, I don't want to get traded, otherwise I might retire. There was some weird news spinning stuff that was happening, but you can't tell me that Kamara wouldn't want to go to the Chargers, a team that has a chance, to go to the playoffs, has a chance to make a run in the playoffs, and actually improve his career and his standings, because the Saints aren't going anywhere. They're in complete rebuild, and they have no direction at all. They're like Jack Sparrow's compass, where it's not really like pointing in any sort of direction. And
I don't think you understand Jack Sparrow's compass. It points to what you want most.
His compass points to where they want to go, but the Saints don't know where they want to go, so it just keeps spinning around in circles.
Oh, okay. That makes
works.
Sense. Okay. I was like, it points to what you want to go.
They don't have anybody with any sense of direction, so it just keeps spinning in his hand.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. All right.
Yeah.
I like that then. I was like, what? They want to get better.
The analogy wasn't over.
I'll let you finish next time. I'm sorry.
But that's what she said. Well, let's go to a different LA team, and this is really the last bit of touching points that I have. Another guy that you really like, and I hadn't ever really jumped on board with, and I missed the boat completely. Puka Nakua, he has a lower ankle sprain. He's not available this week. They're going to be going on a bye week, I believe, after this week. And so they're going to be playing in London against the Jaguars. Obviously, Devontae Adams is going to be the number one receiving option for the Rams right now. But who do you see as the second receiving weapon for this team? Are you a Jordan Whittington guy, a Tyler Higbee, a Tutu Atwell, coming off of a hamstring injury, mind you? Like, are there any of these players that you would play in a streaming option?
Jordan Whittington, we saw him get it done last year. You talked about him last year too as an option. And you thought he would kind of stick around, and he's just been kind of showing up as that we have some injured players, we need some help guy. But he showed up when he needed to, so I think he could be a streamable option if need be. Especially since he's probably out there on waivers, or you could get him for like a fourth or a third or something if you need something in a pinch. Tyler Higbee did get an increase in some targets last week and finished relatively strong. So he's coming off of a devastating knee injury last year, and everyone thought he just wouldn't return to form. And with Terrence Ferguson stepping in, they're like, maybe Higbee isn't where it's at, and Ferguson just hasn't stepped in yet, unfortunately. And he's had one catch that looked awesome though for 20 yards right off the bat, man.
That looked good.
And so he had a cool catch, but they still don't fully trust him, and takes tight ends time to develop. So Higbee wouldn't be the worst option if you're just throwing stuff. Matt Stafford's going to make things work, but I could see it being a down week for Stafford and the team in general.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think this is going to be a very high scoring game. And, I've misinterpreted games in the past, and, just go back a couple episodes when there was a Thursday night game. And I said it was going to be a low scoring game when the 49ers were playing, and it ended up being a really exciting game after all, with Mac Jones and the team winning that one. But the Jaguars and the Rams, they've been putting up points together. But now with some of these injuries, they're playing in London. There's always that lull. We saw this grueling game with the Broncos and the Jets, and it was the worst thing that's happened to London and England since 1776 when we kicked their ass in the Revolutionary War. What else is there to say?
Let's just give garbage time to London. My goodness, we must hate them. Here's just our garbage games. Have fun. Enjoy.
Yeah, the garbage games are no longer on Prime. The garbage games tend to be the London games now.
Yeah. It's it could be a boring game, but it could be bad.
I'm benching Stafford this week.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm playing Caleb Williams over Stafford this week, and in a quarterback that's really hard to trust right now. But I don't think I can trust Stafford with taking one of his receiving weapons away. And let's face it, Puka was like the receiving target even with Adams on the team.
Yeah, he still does have Devontae Adams, so maybe this is an increase for Devontae Adams, but he's getting older. I don't know how much his body will be able to handle. He's what, 32, 33?
He's right there, yeah.
I was going to say, if he's getting the Puka treatment and just taking hits, 14, 15 hits a game, he might just tap out. Remember when he was on the Raiders? He's like, I've never been hit this much in my career. He's like, he could be saying it again this week because they might have to feed him.
They're going to have to showcase him this week.
Yeah, they're going to have to. It's going to be a big Kyren Williams show as well. So look for Kyren Williams to try to eat a lot. They're a good week to be a Kyren Williams owner, I think.
Yep. And then finally, what about Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars?
The house cup.
Trevor! We saw Travis Hunter finally get some work. He had an awesome catch, but that was about all he did. He had a couple of other all right catches, but he did have one sick catch. between two defenders and everything. So I think we're going to start seeing him get a little more work. They're starting to get up, like their defense is starting to heal back up. So he's playing less defense, a little more offense. BTJ finally had a good game last week. Starting to show his athleticism, starting to get a rapport with Trevor Lawrence. And everyone forgets that it wasn't Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball at the end of the year. It was Mac Jones, who has been playing out of his mind at San Francisco. So he's still going to take some time to get that rapport with Trevor Lawrence. And it finally started to peak through last week, and I think we can see it continuing to be better. So I think they're both playable options.
Well, Colten, we were very happy to have you back on the show here this week. I've got to get going up to Rosemont here soon. Doing a game, the Wisconsin and Ohio State game is the game that I'll be covering with the Big Ten, and basically just kind of watching for like head and neck injuries. And so that's where I'll be headed. And I hope that you guys all enjoyed the program here today. Again, you can find me at FF Healers. You can find Colten at FF Captain 22 on Twitter X. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to leave a comment, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Salud.